Host Derek Pearson. Presented by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome. Thursday edition of One on One. Talk a little quarterback play. Some of the things that are required along the way. Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy will call in here in a second. And we'll do that. I want to thank the folks from Beatrice Bakery for sponsoring this hour of sports radio. I think I can take nominations today as well. You guys are going to do it on your show.
Yes.
So we can start taking the nominations now.
Mm-hmm.
Go to theticketfm.com. Find the Beatrice Bakery banner. I can tell you I had a speaking engagement with the Rotary yesterday. They invited me to become a member, by the way, which is a pretty big deal.
Wow.
And I'm impressed. So I want to thank Jerry Christensen and the guys, the gang from over there at the Rotary Club. They hooked us up. It was nice. Great speaking to them. They're all fans of the station. It was a great space to be in. They kind of speak my love language anyway, community love language, which is nice. But I took them a care package of Beatrice Bakery, and they loved it.
Okay.
They loved it. They absolutely loved it.
As most people do.
I took a bunch of the samples, and they were all in. But the actual cakes didn't last long either. So we can take nominations. Just go to the ticketfm.com website, find the Beatrice Bakery banner, click on it, and whoever it is that, again, I'm not asking you to think deep. Think of the first person you think of when you want to see them smile today. Who is that person and why? Like, what have they done? Did they have a good day? Did they have a bad day? Do they need a pat on the back? Do they need a kick in the pants? Do they need acknowledgement? Do they need celebration? Whoever that person is, jump on the website, click the banner, type that up. You can also send it via the Sartor Hammond text line if you want. We'll allow that today. And we'll start taking nominations, and Rico and Nick will give it away in the 2:00 hour at happy hour. You can put it on the Sartor Hammond text line. You guys know the deal. 402-464-5685. Sartor Hammond text line. Honda Lincoln Hotline. And we're live on the video stream. So it's that time of the week. It's my favorite clip. Let's do it.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
You gotta let that just marinate. You just gotta let that. Oh, that's so good.
Why does it have to be the Raiders that have the coolest one?
Because it's the Raiders. This is the Raiders. Like they kind of earned that. They kind of earned that. Let's bring in Barry Thompson, QB coach. BT,
hey, man.
What's happening,
every
man?
Time. It sounds like you ought to put that nighttime crew in charge of listening to that and coming up with their own version about the black shirts or the Huskers. I think they could, between them and their listeners, they'll be able to come up with a version that would fit the Huskers.
This is why I hang out with you, because that's going to be our contest next week.
That's great.
That's going to be a contest this week.
Awesome.
Right? Like, I think that needs to be done. We'll have the Husker Nation come up with their own version of, the autumn wind is a Raider, but winter football is a black shirt.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And,
fall football is a black shirt.
Kind of the mix of honoring the old, but getting to the new. I think there's enough creative people there to get it done.
Yeah, they would write it out, and we could actually have black shirts read it.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, have Jay
Dave's
Foreman.
got that kind
Yeah.
of. Dave's got that kind of silky baritone. I think if he put his booty into it, he can come up with it.
Yeah, I think that's the plan for next week. We'll actually come up. I have a Jason Peter signed black shirt jersey. We'll come up with a couple others, and whoever comes up with the best one, we'll get the jersey.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. It's necessary to do.
Dude, can I get Virginia entries in there?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm just joking.
Go ahead. Yeah. No. Well, you know what? And the autumn wine is a Cavalier.
There we go.
The autumn
And
wine and
speaking of
cheese
that,
is a
speaking of that,
Cavalier.
I know we're going to talk about it at the end, but we got to hold on to a wine selection.
Right?
Myers cork and bottle at the end.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah. Like we'll just be able to say quickly as we can say it, Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Charlottesville is it? Charlottesville. Wine and cheese with Izod and Argyle
come on,
socks.
now.
Come on.
now.
That's
my who's don't tease my who's too much.
that's
You're
who
right.
we are.
The truth hurts sometimes.
That's who we are. Yeah, that's a great idea. That is awesome. So, it days after the Super Bowl, we get to watch the reclassification and re-identification of Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow. And I asked Jay and Rico this question. If you had the number one pick in a re-scrambling of the NFL and you needed a quarterback, of all the NFL quarterbacks and all of the college quarterbacks, so you get two choices. You get one for college,
Wow.
one for pro.
Wow.
And it's to run whatever system Barry Thompson wants to run, right?
Yeah.
What quarterback in college do you take first?
The college guys, I haven't studied them as much. I'm just entering that phase. So I'm going to have to pass on them.
Okay.
And then I'm assuming that I can't take Derek Carr. You're asking me to take because he's a Raider.
Yeah, he won't be a Raider
all
for
right,
long.
So
So,
we're out of Derek.
hey, you might be able to visit with him shortly. He might end up right there in Virginia.
Okay, we'll have some wine and cheese together.
There we go.
Of the pro game, it's interesting because you tend to be reactive to what you see in front of you, right? What the way you phrase it. We just watched the Super Bowl, so why wouldn't you take Stafford or why wouldn't you take Burrows? Based on what you saw them do and the systems that they ran. Those are not bad choices, and then that makes you almost forget about Mahomes, almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost, and then makes you think, then you got to remember Josh Allen too.
Mm-hmm.
I've said for my money, and I don't know whether they'll be able to pull it off. I just like the combination that Lamar Jackson offers. I don't know if they have everything set for him, but his skill set seems to be the most threatening skill set that's out there. I think the Ravens are going to have a challenge in, how the money's distributed to get the people around them to be able to perform where these other teams are. But in terms of big games, you look at Stafford, a lot to admire about his career. A guy just never said a peep and just fought his butt off, and he gets rewarded. I don't know if all your listeners have seen. There's about you'll know it, DP.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 6-minute live clip. Ed Sable says, "We're just going to show you this clip, and we're not going to make any commentary on it." It's Stafford mic'd up where his shoulder gets popped out.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen the clip?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. You watch that, and you're automatically a fan of him. So then, he rises. It's going to reshuffle. I just like that skill set combination that Lamar Jackson has. And it doesn't mean I don't like Josh Allen. He's really good. It doesn't mean I don't like Pat. Well, he's a cheat. But, and those four guys, I mean, they're all really skilled. They're all really good. But if I was to lift them out and move them around, I think Lamar would be the most interchangeable guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you saw what Stafford did. I think Lamar would be the most consistent performer. They're all really good. And that brings you back to, because a couple times ago you said, are we seeing a change into the guard, right? Like these old guys and the new guys have kind of learned. That I said it was more of a change in the uniform. But I just named 5 guys, and I didn't mention Hebert,
Right.
And I didn't mention some other guys. I didn't mention Carr legitimately. You know, I did mention Aaron Rodgers, who's still playing, I think, and then Russell Wilson and so forth. So I don't think this thing is hit an evolution stage where those guys right now, you expect them to be playoff quarterbacks next year just because of who they are. Didn't answer your question, but
no, it provides food for the conversation, because when you talk about style of play and where the game is now, right? And the NFL drives quarterback play for college and high school. So whatever the chic thing is in the NFL, quarterback is a copycat position, like where folks will try to figure out and identify what is successful, what's gone on, and then what can happen next. And then nobody wants to be behind it. So you want to ride the wave as quickly as you can get on it. With that being said, what's the new quarterback? If Matthew Stafford is the guy who gets the golden ring and had impact in them getting the ring. So this is not a Trent Dilfer situation where he's riding the crest, but he actually had to make plays. Now, mind you, he's not Aaron Donald or Von Miller, but he's still Super Bowl champion. And Joe Burrow, what he did in winning the AFC championship with the Bengals is a part of the discussion as well. So what is today's quarterback? What's the next version of hot quarterback play in the NFL and in college football?
Well, it's not going to be the quarterback play so much. I mean, the quarterback is important. You need one. But I come to this conversation a lot. It's really what's put around him that makes him succeed. It's a decision. After you get the guy, it's the decision makers around it. And if they don't make good decisions, you know, Joe Burrow just becomes another guy. But go back to what they did. He's the most sacked guy in the NFL. They go into the draft, so everybody says, well, they need linemen. They picked Jamar Chase. And that made all the difference in the world. You know, and you look at what McVay did. You know, he had Goff, and he said, no, I know what I have here. I need that guy. And they traded away picks to get him, and it was the right thing. In that case, they had an ecosystem, and they pulled the right guy in to run it. So, yes, you can have the right guy, but if the people around them don't make good decisions to help that guy do what he does really well, you're not going to get anything out of it. You just aren't in the NFL. And to be honest with you, the NFL wants a Lamar Jackson. They have for years understood that a guy who can throw the ball accurately from the pocket and a guy who can run is a problem. You go back to Deacon Jones, and some of the listeners may not know who he is, but he curses Fran Tarkenton. Well, he's gone now, but to his last breath, he cursed Fran Tarkenton.
Right.
He was the guy that the people talked about. He just scrambles around. He doesn't know what he's doing. Deacon got pissed when he had to play him because he didn't know where he was going to be, and that causes problems for defense. The problem with a guy like that is that with the dollars you're playing, how important it is to the team, you run the risk of injury and losing the guy.
Yeah. So
the NFL, in my opinion, is always fighting against, at the quarterback position, what they really want. What they really want is somebody like Lamar. What they really want is somebody like Patrick Mahomes, right? What they really want is, you know, somebody like Russell. That's what they really want. But they haven't found a way to consistently kind of manage a guy like that. You know, Fran was probably, you know, and there was Steve Young, right? Those guys really cause problems as much as a guy like Dan Marino or Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow. That's what they really want, but they can't figure out the equilibrium between the guy running and then keeping them safe. But that's going to be the most dangerous quarterback that there is. William Felton Russell, we've always talked about this, one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived and known as a defensive guy. He said the toughest thing to defend is something that I don't know where it's going to be. And you go back to the Alabama games recently, those national champs, they did a fantastic job of moving their key players around the chessboard. And that presents problems for them. It's tough.
You mentioned Russell Wilson and his possible free agencies, pending free agency, has driven the question, where is Russell Wilson in the quarterback hierarchy long-term currently?
Well, it depends on what he does next. He doesn't have, he's had a consistent run of success. He's got the 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 ring. Is that right?
Yep.
Is that right? Okay. And I know people are constantly say he's not Hall of Fame. I've never seen so much discussion about Hall of Famers when they're mid-career. Like, he has a whole second story. I mean, people forget Peyton Manning's second half story.
Right.
Or people forget John Elway's second half story. John Elway, right at the midpoint, was just a guy who could really sling the ball, get Super Bowls, he couldn't win.
Right.
And then the back half of this story, when they started putting things around him and John started, understanding that he couldn't do it on his own, back-to-back Super Bowl wins. That changes it. Now he's a different dude, right?
Right.
So this thing, when a guy's halfway through his career or, whatever it is, he's not done, and talk about the Hall of Fame. I think Russell is, he's going to try to, I think he's mature enough to try to have a great conversation about how things are going to go and what he feels he needs to win. If he gets all that, he gets into place, I think he'll be as successful as he was with Seattle. If he just chases money, you're going to see pretty much maybe a repeat of what we saw the last couple of years. So it just depends. That ecosystem around the quarterback is so important. So important. It almost strips the quarterback of his abilities if the things aren't done correctly around. Imagine if you got Brady at New England and they were convinced that they were going to try to make him run an RPO system like Nick Foles. Right?
Hilarious.
Or, talking to Nick Foles, right? How they get the Super Bowl? They got rid of him because they wanted to do something else. They brought him back. They put in the stuff that he was really good at. Bang, Super Bowl. That's Nick Foles. That's how important that stuff is.
I'm going to put you in the hot seat with this one because I know that you're going to hate this, but I'm going to ask you to do it. You talk about Joe Burrow and what was put around him. You talk about quarterbacks and the ecosystem around them. You as a quarterbacks coach, and now you've got your top guy, right? You've picked the quarterback of your choice. But pick number 2 is either going to be a left tackle or a 1A receiver. What do you choose?
I'm getting Jonathan Ogden out of retirement. I'm bringing Anthony Munoz in to coach him.
Right.
And any other, Dave, what was the guy, the great lineman? He wasn't a tackle. He played for from Alabama, played for New England for years.
Oh, John Hanna. John Hanna,
I'm bringing him around.
Right.
And I'm going back and getting, any guy that's been great with the line. Yeah, he's got to stand up. He's got to stand up.
Is that what you think happens for Cincinnati? I mean, that's the talk, right? And even that's what happens with LA. Do you get another banger, or do you?
Go back to the skill set thing, was because what the Bengals did was interesting, right? You would think that if I had been in the front office, right, I'd have been banging to go get a tackle to protect this guy. But somehow there's a calculation, and I tend to think, that Joe was screaming on the table, so give me this guy, I can fix that. And somehow somebody won out. Said, no, we're going to get Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow that worked, and that fits Joe's strength and what Jamar can. If you look at Jamar doesn't dust people. He never does.
Right.
I don't know what release game he has, but you go back and watch his catches, he's bodied up next to somebody. He's in the air. Look at the catch that he made in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, he tracked that ball early while the defensive back was still positioning, got himself in there, and Joe threw the perfect ball for him. So there's something about those two that wipes out a multitude of sins. I don't know if any other quarterback, right, could have made that choice and solved the problem. But evidently, with Joe and Jamar, it was unique to Cincinnati. We've seen quarterbacks take their favorite receivers before, and it doesn't work out. But this one solved this wiped out a multitude of sins for them. pick. And I think that's unique to Joe.
Watching that game being played and the throws that were being made, especially in critical times. So there's that the throw that I've seen you work with quarterbacks make every day of your drills, which is that trash can throw to the corner where it's timing and look, just put it in the same place over a defender, right? That's why you arc it, and you can't throw it straight into the trash can. You got to put some elevation on it, and the timing has to be right. Versus that fade back shoulder throw towards the pylon on time. Which of those are the more difficult of the two throws to make? Because there were a couple that were missed in the Super Bowl, and there were a couple that were hit. Which ones are the most difficult throws to make?
Well, I think the one that it depends on the field that they are. So if you're out midfield and you're trying to guys going down the sideline, that takes a lot of reading, and there's a lot of space, and both the receiver and the quarterback have to be on the same exact page as to when things are going to happen. So a simple way of describing a back shoulder field down the field is, the quarterback will, at the high school level, in college, they'll have a way of saying, okay, I'm running 4 verts and I'm looking at both sides and I'm going to take the pressed up corner. I'm going to start there. Now, as the receiver starts, right, if he gets on top of the defensive back, then the quarterback's just going to throw the ball, right? But if for some reason at a certain point if the defensive back is even on top of the defensive back, then the receiver knows he's going to get a back shoulder throw. That sounds simple, right? But they've got to both be on the same thing. And then the quarterback's location of that throw, it takes quarterbacks a while to understand. I always say target the helmet, and that'll put the ball, right where it wants to be. Now, inside the red zone, where fades are going to happen and allow people to be more physical, that's probably a little easier thing for the two to get right? Because the same rules. If I get on top of them, I'm not here. But in that case, a receiver can communicate to the quarterback, hey, I'm not going to try to get on top of him, right? That's when you see both hands, right? 2 hands on the defensive back and the defensive back there. He's got his space, and then now just put the ball where I can go get it, right? The corner route is one, like most of the pro passes, it just has to be thrown on time, right? You can't wait. Like he's got his steps down, you've got your steps down, the ball's going to the corner, and he has to go get it. That one, from a timing perspective and execution perspective, is more easily practiced over and over again, right? I put up clips of my guys, right? You've probably seen it, where they're just constantly hitting the same spot.
Yep.
It's easy to walk a quarterback up that. The back shoulder stuff in the field, that takes a lot of time, and it's not as easy to execute as they make it look.
Well, that's training, high repetition, and awareness. I'm going to ask you a question before I ask you the question.
Okay.
Since we've been talking about quarterbacks and what they need around them, right? Nebraska's in a very similar situation. Like, folks want to get excited about the skill position guys, but how important is it? They need a left tackle anchor, right? That needs to happen. That's important. How important is it to the success of Casey Thompson and this Nebraska offense?
Well, he's got to feel comfortable, and I don't mean to pick on anybody, but the times that I dipped in on Nebraska football, the right guard was an issue too.
Right.
So A and B gaps, you want to take care of those first. So
Okay.
That's got to be solidified. Then you can move out, right?
Okay.
But if you can't protect A and B gaps, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. That has to be solidified. So start there first.
Okay.
Then you move out to the tackle spot. Again, with the skill players, there's ways to get around that. If you don't have a strong left tackle, then, there's certain things. When people think of pass protection, it's not just, especially as the guys move up a level, it's not just equating numbers. At the high school level, if I see 6 in the box and I want to be a belt suspenders guy, I call it protection that I have 6 protected, right? The standard one is I'll have a half-man slide, three people sliding to the zone, 3 defenders, and then I'll have 2 man defenders on whatever side I call, and then the back would be the check for the third person that may come from the right. So I've got 3 on the left, 3 on the right. I've got 6 unprotected. As you move up, now protection is not just about numbers. Protection is about matchups.
Right.
You know, I may like a full turn protection where I have my whole line side.
Everybody.
Right, and my back comes in play action, and he comes up and he takes the defensive end. Well, there's some backs that you don't want near a defensive end, and, you know, and that's not a good matchup, even though it's a great protection for you.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to have to come in and you're going to need to double team somebody, or maybe they have to choose somebody. And you have to figure out protection where you get two double teams and you handle the rest of the protection. So there are ways around it. You certainly can chip, but again, you know, what kind of back do you have? We're talking about running backs. What do you want? I failed to mention two things. Can he block and pass pro? And two, could he get out? Right? Those are ways that you can kind of control or get around a defensive end. You know, he's coming hard. And then I'll take advantage of the space that he creates by putting the back right behind it, right? You know, that old adage that if you can't block them, kind of read them.
Yep.
So there's ways around that from a protection standpoint. But then that puts a burden on Casey, right? Now he has to know his protections. And you get me talking about this. I'm spending a lot of time with Guy and my guys that get ready to go in college. You know, we spend an intense amount of time now talking about protections and things like that, and making sure they can understand. When you watch guys like Josh Allen a couple of playoffs ago, I don't know if I mentioned this, but or you watch Aaron Rodgers play, just any of these guys, and if it appears to you that they always seem to know where everything is on the field as they move around, it is because they do know where everything is on the field. I'll give you an example. I was showing some of my quarterbacks. This is a playoff game, Josh Allen. It's a protection we call 300 jet. It just means that there's the center, the guard, and the tackle on the right are zoning to the right. So they mean that they're taking care of the A, B, and C gap. No matter what combination of defenders come, they've got those three. To the left are two man defenders, and the back would, if he's in protection, if it's not scat check, he would be checking to that side. So here's the play. So he's got three guys sliding to his right. He's got man defenders or blockers to his left. He drops back on the hash, and with no signs of pressure, he takes two quick steps to the right side of that hash. Now, it may not look like anything to you, but what he was doing, he did two things. If he stood on the hash, right, by getting off the hash, he did two things. He bought extra time, which everybody can understand, because he was actually throwing a crossing route, which was coming from his right, going to his left. He bought extra time. But what he was really doing, by moving from the hash a little bit to the right, he was increasing the distance that the defensive tackle and end would have to go to get to him. Right? He increased the distance.
Yep.
He moved about 2 feet from him. And of the two sides of your protection, the zone side or the slide side and the man side, which side is most likely to get beat? Most likely to get beat on the one-on-one side.
Yeah.
So he purposely stepped to the slide side, and sure enough, when you watch him finally throw the ball, there's a defensive tackle from whoever they're playing. He gets to the hash. So if Joe had been there, that would have been Josh had been there, that would have been a pressured throw. So knowing the protection is extremely important for a quarterback, not just, numerically where they equate, but exactly where your gaps are, exactly how you buy extra time, exactly where you want to escape if you feel pressure. If you feel pressure from this side, what does it mean? So there's a whole lot that will go in from the quarterback perspective to helping that left tackle if he's not Jonathan Ogden.
Yeah, that's why. See, this is why we bring you on. It's a master's class, right? It's necessary because there's so much to it. And you're a great detailer and explainer. You create the visual and open folks' minds up to what is required to play, the things that they're not seeing that these experts do see. Before we let you go, got to ask, what are we eating?
Yeah, we're going to Spain.
Okay, cool. I'm packed.
Spain, I
I'm
love
packed.
their tapas. There's a dish called potato and chorizo tortilla. So it's not the Central South American tortilla or taco tortilla. It's called potato and chorizo tortilla. And it's a really simple dish. You'll need about a 12-inch skillet, If you're using nonstick, you want it oven proof. You preheat the oven to 375. You'll need about a pound of fresh chorizo, 3 medium peeled eggs, potatoes, 1 medium onion, and some salt and pepper, half cup of milk, and lemon. And there's something, a little salad that goes on top. Those are the main things. 8 large eggs. So in the pan, right, you take the chorizo. It usually comes in a fresh casing, and you put 3 tablespoons of olive oil in there, and you can't brown it. Fresh chorizo is going to look red, but you kind of cook it off on medium-high heat for about 4 or 5 minutes. After that, you're going to put in your potatoes and your onions. Now, the size of the cut, right? You don't have to dice them finely, but you want to make them like, bite size on the spoon, kind of however you want to cut it. That goes in with the chorizo, and you cook that on medium-high for about another 5 minutes until the onions get soft. After that, you're going to turn the heat down to medium and put a lid on it and let it cook for another 10 minutes until the potatoes get soft. After that, pull that lid off, crank it back up to medium-high because you want the potatoes to get a little crispy on the bottom. Are you with me, DP?
I'm all in.
Okay.
I'm all in.
All right, and then in the meantime, those 8 large eggs and a half cup of milk, a little salt and pepper, you're whisking those until it gets frothy. Your mixture in the pan is done. So then you pour the eggs on top of that, and you just want to move it around the pan to make sure everything's evenly coated. And once that's done, you pop it into the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. It's going to puff up. And if you're using a regular pan, you'll see that it'll start to come away from the edges pretty easily. When that's done, don't dig into it right away. You'll take it out of the dish and you'll let it sit for about 5 minutes. While that's going on, to make mom happy, take maybe a cup of mixed greens, about maybe half a lemon. You're going to juice it, and then maybe a tablespoon of olive oil. And you'll take the lemon, olive oil, make a little vinaigrette, a little salt and pepper, toss that with the greens. And then you can either put those on the side of the tortilla or right on top, just a little bit on top, and go eat it. And you need a fancy, I don't know wines, but, maybe red Spanish wine to go with it, or a good cerveza would be good, or iced tea or lemonade. And the great thing about these tortillas is they hold up really well. If anybody out there really enjoys a cold slice of pizza, these tortillas, when you make them, they're great while they're warm. They're easy to warm back up, but the dish holds up really well for 3 or 4 days, and you'll just be snacking off it for the rest of the week. It's a potato and chorizo tortilla. Really good stuff.
Yeah, great. We're all hungry now. Thanks. None of us. Okay. Fair. Very fair. Hey, BT, good stuff. Appreciate you, man. Love what you do.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right. That's Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. Now we're hungry, but we're smarter. We'll be right back.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning in to Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual planter clinic at the Adams County Fairgrounds in Hastings, Nebraska, February 23rd and 24th. Landmark's planter clinic offers expansive equipment training and important information on new and updated technology for this planting season. Learn more about AMS documentation and guidance, row unit and meter settings, and soil moisture monitoring options. Join us February 23rd and 24th in Hastings, RSVP by calling your local Landmark.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff@brokersinsurancene.com.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. And you can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
Acres Equipment, Nebraska's premier John Deere dealer. We support farmers, ranchers, landowners, local governments, contractors, and more. Largest inventory around, and we deliver. Precision ag specialists creating the highest yields. Mobile technicians covering the state, and we're there for the home team on game day. Acres, solutions for every field.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Cloudy, windy, and cold here for our Thursday, topping out at 28. North winds could gust over 25 to 30 for much of the day. They'll relax tonight as we drop down to 14 for the low. Big jump in temps for our Friday. Mostly sunny with a high of 57. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric always makes safety a top priority for our home and office. In under just 1 hour, their team installed the state-of-the-art air scrubber system directly into our existing HVAC ductwork. This technology purifies the air and reduces exposure to common bacteria and viruses, creating a safer breathing environment for my family. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
You're listening to One on One with DP, presented by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep going under. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yeah, I love to have, because Barry kind of changes where my brain is, and we talk about Mickey Joseph, and we talk about the change at the coordinator position, and we talk about offensive line play, but we know how important it is. And Barry tells you right at the top, look, man, get me a big silverback to set the boundary behind me so I can make plays for you. It is important. Are you satisfied with, as a fan, are you satisfied with the offensive line changes in the offseason?
I don't want to speak to it yet because I don't know exactly
which is actually the right answer
has changed and what hasn't changed. Like, they brought in 2 transfers and they signed one, right? One true freshman offensive lineman.
One big and one almost big.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm confused. I thought they would have been more active in the transfer portal for offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
They got 2 who can play guard and tackle. Both of them can. And they have played both positions, all 3, 4, whatever positions in their college times. But they still have just about all the guys that they had last year coming back. We don't know who's going to be where. We don't even know who the center is going to be, which is kind of important. I would say, 1A, 1B, left tackle and center, pretty important. So I don't want to speak on the changes that they've made because I don't know what changes have been made. I will say that I do like the 2 additions from Oklahoma State and Northern Colorado. I think that they will provide, hopefully start and provide some great protection for Casey. But again, I can't say I watched them or have any tape on them to watch. Well, there is tape, but I can't say I've watched it and can tell you really about an offensive lineman and how good they are.
I was asked this last night, and so I will ask you.
Hit me.
What we're speaking purely level of excitement about said program. So your level of excitement, not level of trust, level of excitement. Different question.
Can I break down the excitement?
Right? That, yes. Okay. So if I asked you to compare your level of excitement for Huskers baseball versus Husker football.
Higher.
Level of trust.
Higher. Much higher. Wet. It's like wet. Like, there's no level. The limit does not exist.
So if you were offered season tickets for baseball versus football or baseball, what would you
I
take?
would take baseball because I can get to more baseball games than football. And also, when it gets cold, I don't want to be outside. I'm soft. I don't care.
Strictly for the game. So text line, let me know. Season tickets for football or season tickets for baseball? And which ones would you use more often?
I would use baseball more often. Like I would take the football ones, obviously. You know, there's a massive waiting list. So me actually getting season tickets for football aren't very likely. But I would use the baseball ones more often. 1, because there's more games. And 2, because it's just
well,
nicer.
You can base it on percentage of games used.
Percentage of games. Yeah. But
like you would go to half of the football games.
Probably.
Would you go to half of the baseball games? Because it's more.
I would try.
Baseball or volleyball?
Ooh. I have become a very large volleyball fan after I married my wife.
Yeah.
Mostly because she's a massive volleyball fan. And again, massive waiting list. I think I would take volleyball over baseball, though.
So
what's up?
Season tickets, you can only accept one.
Okay.
Season tickets for baseball or season tickets for volleyball? What would you take?
Me personally, I would take baseball.
That's not surprising.
Me personally.
Baseball or football?
Baseball.
Not even close.
Not even close.
So rank the season ticket packages for you, top to bottom.
Baseball, volleyball. Oh,
right.
Baseball, volleyball.
Are we including basketball?
Yeah, like I was thinking.
Well, basketball's 4, right?
Which sports am I getting here?
Any Husker sports?
Yeah, like women's basketball.
Does track have season tickets?
That's my next question.
I would go baseball, volleyball, football, women's basketball.
Where's wrestling?
I would say women's basketball, men's basketball.
Mark says volleyball only because I
Why
can't
do
get tickets.
people
otherwise.
always say that they can't get tickets? I don't have season tickets. I can always get
the
tickets.
first sporting event I went here was volleyball.
Why does everybody struggle to get tickets?
It's tough to get tickets.
I can get them pretty easy. They're not that expensive.
No, I think I paid $25. I sat right at the net, lower bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it against like a top team?
It was against Maryland, but still.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity and they were there. I almost bought 4 tickets.
That wouldn't matter, right?
State.
If Maryland, it wouldn't matter who it was, right, Mike?
Yeah. Plus the standing room only is fine.
I was gonna say, I will say this, like with students tickets, there's always standing room.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, pay $5 or
wrestling
$10
or
for standing.
track.
Wrestling.
Track.
Well, you do. Mark, wrestling or track? And for Mark, it would be wrestling or gymnastics.
Yeah,
gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
Yeah, we all have our favorites.
So where's gymnastics in the hierarchy? Where's that work? How's that work?
I would put that below wrestling for me personally, just because I don't know enough about it.
I cannot.
Well, that's because you don't go.
Yeah, I
Bingo.
cannot. I
Like,
cannot
that's-
say
exactly. You're
Well, that's
absolutely
literally
right.
my point is that when people become, and I found it out through these shows, the more you learn about them, the more curious you become about them.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I said I'd be a bowling groupie before I even knew who the bowling team was, and everybody goes, "Oh, they're national champions." I was like, "Oh,
that makes it easier."
It makes it easier, right?
Yeah. I can't put gymnastics or bowling on my list quite yet because I haven't gone. But if I get to one, then I'll throw them on there and I'll let you know exactly where.
Cheeseburger says football cheaper in the long run. Not as many games to pay for food and drinks.
Yeah, but there's something about the atmosphere at a Husker baseball game that I enjoy a lot.
Look, if I'm at the game, I don't care about the price of the food and drinks. Like I'm gonna enjoy it. I don't care. And it's not like I'm gonna buy like 3 pizza. Like I'm gonna buy 1 pizza and 1 drink, and that's gonna be the whole game.
What about Ellen? What's she got?
Yeah, man.
I'm
What about your
I'm
wife?
gonna get a popcorn for what? Obviously,
Okay.
But I'm talking about myself.
So maybe
Ellie's just gonna get a popcorn and she's gonna eat like half my pizza.
Beers. Well, now that
If there's beer.
but that changes the game though. Now the game has been changed officially, right? So baseball with beer trumps everything else.
Well, if we want to,
do you have beer at wrestling matches now? Will they?
Oh, that'd be
the Big Ten championships.
But I mean, actually, at Devaney,
Oh, I don't know. That's interesting because they don't have the taps there.
don't they? I would think that they do.
No, Devaney.
Because think about what the events that they have there. I mean, it's state basketball, which then no way.
Well, you got to think before PBA, Devaney was
the spot.
But there were never concerts in Devaney. The PBA,
Was there? No,
the only reason PBA has the taps is
They've
because
never
of
done
concerts.
concerts at Devaney Center.
No.
What a waste of a
Yeah,
facility.
no, that was a big reason. That was a big.
I mean, they have the soda spouts. They should be able to turn like 2 of those to beer.
But I'm saying like that was the reason PBA was such a big thing was because and such a big reason was because it gave Lincoln a place to host concerts because everybody went to the Quest in Omaha, which is now CHI or
then the Century
Charles
Link.
Schwab or whatever.
And the-
Yeah, Century
they use
Link.
Pershing
All the
for it?
12
Okay.
names that it's
Okay.
that
They
it's
use
had.
Pershing Auditorium.
That's right, Pershing, because that's where state volleyball was too.
Pershing Auditorium.
Okay.
Okay. This is why we have these conversations.
Yeah.
You guys are teaching me, so it's greatly appreciated. I have to ask these questions. We'll throw the break.
Somebody
We'll close
said
up.
Devaney had concerts. Pecan Pie says I went to Poison at Devaney.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. So text line, let us know where these concerts were. Yeah, they're chiming in. We'll read those texts. Go ahead and text over the break. We'll close out one-on-one, hand it over to the captain show. He's got Steve Warren today. Steve Warren will join Rashawn Jackson on the captain show. We'll be right back.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is your high school minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arnn. In basketball, the Lincoln Lutheran girls team won its first game in the sub-districts over Raymond Central 69-44. Kennedy Ailes scored 20 points for the Crusaders in the win. Their next game will be against Lincoln Christian on Tuesday. In boys basketball over the weekend, Bennington edged out a win over Lincoln Christian 61-58. Lincoln Christian won against Lord CC 59-52. Lincoln Southwest rolled Omaha Northwest 84-63. Helms led Southwest with 17 points. Miller North took down Lincoln Pius X 67-49. The Hastrader brothers combined for 36 points in the loss. Omaha Central dominated against Lincoln North Star 74-40. Waverly beat Omaha Gross 60-51. Harms had a strong night offensively for Waverly with 19 points. In swimming on Saturday, the Lincoln Southwest boys repeated as the Heartland Athletic Conference champion. This has been your high school minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Acres Equipment, Nebraska's premier John Deere dealer. We support farmers, ranchers, landowners, local governments, contractors, and more. Largest inventory around, and we deliver. Precision Ag Specialists, creating the highest yields. Mobile technicians covering the state, and we're there for the home team on game day. Acres, solutions for every field.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Cloudy, windy, and cold here for our Thursday, topping out at 28. North winds could gust over 25 to 30 for much of the day. They'll relax tonight as we drop down to 14 for the low. Big jump in temps for our Friday. Mostly sunny with a high of 57. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? Bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Based right here in Lincoln, Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska is part of a nonprofit, whole-person healthcare organization that serves people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Mosaic's mission is to relentlessly pursue opportunities to empower people. By providing truly personalized services, this empowerment ranges from helping someone communicate for the first time to helping another gain enough independence to secure a job. If you would like to learn more about Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska's services or to donate, please go to mosaicinfo.org/Southeast Nebraska.
You're listening to One on One with DP, presented by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get in here, Nicholas. Get in here.
Listen,
Get in here.
I don't want to start anything.
No, it's
a good thing.
It's a good
It's a
story.
good
It's a
thing.
good
It's a good
conversation
story.
to have.
I appreciate it.
It's a good conversation to have.
I just got off the phone with somebody that said State Fair.
Yeah.
When the State Fair was in town, there were concerts in Devaney. I honestly,
Yeah,
the State Fair has been in Grand Island so many years now that I forgot that the State Fair was here in Lincoln at one point.
Yeah.
There you go.
Makes
But
sense.
the other call you got.
I don't know what you're talking. Okay, so we had somebody call in that worried about
Silverback.
Silverback. They wanted to make sure that we were not
stereotyping,
being negative or stereotyping when we use the term silverback, like a silverback gorilla.
Yeah. So to point out, he says maybe I should be using it. So point of reference. In coaching circles, and specifically in DC with Trent Williams. When Trent Williams came to town, he identified himself as the great silverback. And he said, I'm the prototype for left tackles going forward. Right?
I would accept that prototype.
Right. And he said that's what it was. Now, we weren't calling anybody monkeys for the sake of calling them monkeys. We weren't doing that. Also, there are people, this thing happened at the Home and Garden show, and it happened several times at the Home and Garden show.
DP forgets things sometimes.
I forget that this is still radio. People do not know what I look like. So there were several people who listened to the show, listened to the station, who did not know what I look like. And they hear me every day, but they don't see me every day. Right? And so there were several ladies and gentlemen who came up at various points over those 3 days and said, I'm a big fan of the station. I love what you're doing. I love what DP's doing with the station. and they were saying it to me.
You
And
should have just gone along with
They
it.
probably thought you were Jay Foreman.
right, they said no, they did not. No, they did not. No, they did not. But the thing was, they would say, "No, I listen to the station all the time." And I said, "Yeah." So I'd ask, "What's your name?" They'd say their name, and I'd say, "Well, hey, I'm DP."
You should have just said you were Rico.
I'm DP, and they would have believed I was Rico. They had far greater issue figuring out that I was DP. So apparently, I don't sound the way I look. What is the thing? But it happened several times, and I wasn't offended by it or bothered by it. As a matter of fact, I found it rather amusing. I had just forgotten. It's been a while. I forget because we're digital in how we present the ticket.
We've been on the live stream for quite a long time, so you.
Well, but
forget.
not everybody goes on the live stream.
But you forget, like, not everybody is. Yeah, not everybody's watching.
It's still
this.
radio. A lot of people are in cars listening.
Yeah.
In cars. Now, we've set up other ways for you to be a part of the show. You can download the app. You can go to YouTube. You can go to Twitch. You can go to Facebook. And those things are available. And if you follow us on social media, you see pictures from the station. You see videos from the station as well. So it was a great reminder that not everybody sees who we are. They only hear. And that's a great reminder along the way. Nick, you ready for the captain show?
I believe so. Steve Warren today.
Got a good one, huh?
Yeah, it is a good one.
Got a good one.
Yeah, cool little thing he's doing out in Omaha right now.
And Johnny Holiday in studio tomorrow morning.
I'm excited.
He's here.
He's here with the Terps.
Man, that throws me back to my intern days.
Yeah,
Johnny Holiday on the DP and Steven.
You would always
Tom's
tell me to
in
call
too.
Johnny.
Huh?
Tom's coming in too.
Oh,
Should I let Tom run the board?
He would probably. Yeah, you probably should.
Tom will just come in and be like, "All right, let's do a show."
right. Yeah,
He's gonna come in with his 5 pieces of paper, just ready to go. He's like, "All right, I know what we're talking about at 10:30 today too."
Just let him run the show.
Oh,
Please let him run the show.
So good, so good. You guys stay tuned. It's a full day on the ticket. Don't go anywhere.